Hey everyone, it's Judge Desire for Knowledge here on my channel and YouTube. Um, so I'm in Puerto Rico now. Yeah, I'm in Puerto Rico. I had taped this my show for Legal Matters because we're doing Legal Matters today. And for some reason, I guess it didn't, the purpose wasn't done. So I couldn't even find it afterwards. I was like, oh my God, I have to do this whole show over again. So I'm starting back from the beginning, and now I'm in Puerto Rico. So, and it's beautiful out here. I wasn't able to set up outside for some reason, so I have to do it indoors and still wear my little glasses for the beach glasses, sunglasses, so that I could act like I'm out on the beach. But hopefully when I do my show tomorrow, Know Your Truth, Real Talk, I'll find a nicer spot and hopefully I could do it live somewhere where you could see the beauty. But I do have on social media right now, uploading my travels there on all social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. You'll see me there. My lighting, I'm not sure what happened, but forgive me. Okay, so the topic today on Legal Matters is, and thank you for joining me, know the differences between, actually the title is Knowing Differences, Hearing Officers, You Are Not Judges. I know this doesn't seem important to some people, but I wanted to bring this up because a lot of places we go to, they act or perpetrate a title that is not theirs to do so. For instance, when you're in an adjudication office and one such as parking, Social Security, administration, etc., these people tend to mock the court, have a moot court, I believe. There is not an actual courthouse. They're hearings, but they're not a court hearing or trials, which they try to act like they are, and they're not. How I know this is because I work with judges, so I know the actual judges, and here's the differences, okay? They are not, sorry, I'm looking at my notes because sometimes I forget what I want to stay on course. Wait, they like to refer themselves as judges, but they're far from it. So how we're going to discuss this is actually we're working with judges. An actual judge does not just get seated in a position like that. They're either elected by the voters, you and I, to have that position, or the President of the United States, in regards to federal court, will have to appoint a judge. And for the New York State courts, whom I'm a part of, the governor of the state of New York, or whatever state, we're only talking about New York here, but in any state, that governor would need to appoint a judge. None of those adjudication offices have that. They're not voted in. The president nor the governor has appointed them as judges. So they're taking away the real work ethic that judges actually have to do. They're actually lawyers as judges. That's the only comparison. Judges and hearing officers is what we call them, are both lawyers. And so therefore these adjudication offices should be calling themselves hearing officers and not judges. So when you go there, you're acting as if you're in a courthouse and you're really not in front of a judge. For instance, I helped a friend out about a month ago on a ticket teleconference. So question came up and I was there and I said, no, I'm not a lawyer, but I am their representative to make sure that they get the answers that they need corrected. They said, okay. Now, as we're going through, I stopped a few things to ask questions and they told me to be quiet. So then I asked their name and they stated, and I won't say the name here, but they used the term judge so and so. I said judge, and then I started laughing because they didn't know who I was, right? So, and they didn't see my face because it was a one-way conference call, well, video conference, I should say. And so this judge determined to ask me, well, excuse me, why are you, laughing? I said, I'm not laughing. I was actually not laughing that loud, but she was like, hello, well, excuse me. And I was like, okay, is there something I can help you with? I said to Liz, she said, you need to be quiet. I said, I didn't say anything. I just asked your name. And she used the word judge. So get back on the theme I'm talking about is you cannot utilize the name judge unless you're actually appointed or elected in. So therefore, I'm going to help this person with their appeal process. We're waiting for the decision to come through the mail. That person's going to call me and I'm going to help them through the appeal process just because that person angered me, and the judges I work for have done actual work to become judges and were elected in by us and then appointed by the president, or it depends which jurisdiction, or a governor. And these people slid their way in and just considered calling themselves that when they're actual hearing officers, attorneys that I'm not sure if they never made it as an actual judge and they're rude because of it or what the case may be. But I know that they're not actually elected or appointed by an important by the state or the president. So therefore you cannot consider yourself being a judge. And so when you go to these adjudication offices, my advice to you is to wait, listen, learn, and then while they're talking, because everything should be taped, you should ask, can you give me your name again? Or just act like you don't remember it. And then if they use the word judge, you have it on tape. I would take that tape, tell them you want a copy of the CD or whichever transcripts, whichever way that fake court or administrative office, I should say, utilizes the information, the minutes, and all of that they have to do. That's required in any kind of meeting, trials and hearings. You have to have that formation of either tape or transcripts. And the Supreme Court judges, Supreme Court judges are appointed also by the president, and we have acting judges that were appointed, as I stated, either by the president or a state court, the governor of that state. And those acting judges are either waiting to fulfill, they're either fulfilling another, these are actual judges, waiting to fulfill another position for someone, a judge that's not able to do their job at that point, who is away or on leave or anything, with the possibility of them trying to become a judge. If they fulfill that purpose, they can keep their term as an actual judge if they get elected and appointed later. But otherwise, the acting judge is just an acting judge, and they can use that name, acting, because they're actually in a courthouse. Okay, so the difference here is these hearing officers can't even use that because they're working in an adjudication office, and that adjudication office is not what it's not a judicial. There's a big difference. Office, a judicial office would be a courthouse. They're non-judicial employees. So judicial employees are actual judges, and non-judicial would be someone like myself. I work in the court system, but I'm non-judicial employee. These are non-judicial employees like me, sitting there playing like they're on the bench and giving out orders and decisions when they should actually, even though they can do that, they shouldn't do it under the title of judge. They're supposed to say they're a hearing officer hearing your case and describe themselves as lawyers and not actual judges on the record. And I think that if a lot of us actually go through the system of adjudication offices and we see them acting as a judge, that we actually get it on the tape and start appealing these things so that they can stop saying that, because we work hard in the court and we need to be treated with more respect than these people that haven't even gotten to the point where I didn't get my job just because, how I look or who I know. I got in by my right merits. I took exams. I get where I am for exams, civil service exams. All right. The leader of the administrative office they like to call themselves administrative judge, and that's because he administer within the administrative office, therefore allowing himself to call the other judges that are under him, which it's only he's the supervisor of the judges in that administrative office, but they are not administrative judges either. People need to understand that they weren't given any ranking, I should say, to address the situation in that manner. And therefore, we as the people should actually come forward when we do have cases, because these people are not allowing you to be found not guilty and reduce the charges. If you saw my traffic 1 and 2, the courts will allow you to plead guilty. If you don't have proof, you might as well plead guilty with a reduced for reduced points or something with no points. For instance, from a traffic violation to a parking is no points. And I believe the girl, the people that I helped out had traffic. Yes, it was traffic. It wasn't parking. So traffic gives you points on your licenses. So you would ask them to reduce it to something that would not affect your DMV record, is what New York State is, DMV. Because it's very important that you don't accumulate too many points, because then they can revoke, suspend your license. You're going to pay again and again. It's a lot of things that can happen with these points. And then there's assessment fees. So this is what they're trying to put on, because they're not a justice system. They work basically as a financial institution. So they just accumulate funds, monies, and do what they need to do with it. While you're paying this, you're also getting the points. So that's really important that you ask them to reduce the ticket to a non-traffic violation ticket. For instance, like I said, parking. And if you don't, actually when you do, they won't. But in the court system, that's the way to go. And the court system only works, there's traffic upstate New York. In the city, they're run by these financial institutions who consider themselves to be a court, and they're not. And the police and them work together, I believe, and the DMV, and they get together, and you're already guilty there, because I've seen people that had proof that told me about this, and they denied the proof. They can dismiss proof, but if you actually have evidence, that it shouldn't be dismissed. A courthouse knows that, because it's the justice system. But when you're not working within the justice system, then these people do what the heck they want. And it needs to stop, and stop now. So basically, I'm giving this information out so that people can understand the differences of a hearing officer and an actual judge, and the system and how it works. The court system cannot just not help you in any way. What we have to do is we have to look at both sides of everything. These people are actually partial instead of being impartial. So because of that, we need to change that. If you want to act like a judge, then you have to be one, or we have opportunities to be able to get proof, or you got to reduce a ticket to something where I just pay a fine and it doesn't affect my my DMV, my driving record, or my license, which is really justified, but they're not. So, but if you want to play a judge, you should be, you should be justified, you should be impartial, and they're not. So, like I was saying, like I said, they're not a judicial branch. Therefore, they shouldn't be calling themselves judges at all. If they want to play with judges, then they need to go through the same procedures the justices have to go through, um, and always know that, and always look and understand the differences. Also, the venue that your ticket is coming from, so that you go to the right place. See if it's a court and find out if it's an actual court. You have the right to ask questions. It's your right. I mean, well, you don't want to get all these things accumulated on your record and they're getting away with that. Um, Another thing I wanted to say is, when you're dealing with an actual court has peace officers that carry guns, and they're called court officers. And on their uniforms, it will say New York State Courts, period. And New York State courts, on every court officer, they'll carry a gun. They're not security guards. And if you look at the adjudication offices, they usually have security officers. That is not a part of the court system. All right. So when you see that, now, if they have an NYPD cop or officer, then that doesn't instruct that that's a court either. It's just that that venue, that area may have danger, and they have to protect, maybe because of the way these people treat people, but they have to protect the public, the hearing officers, the building, the properties. So they would call in NYPD. If you see one of them, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a court. It just means that the area is volatile and they need an officer there. But a court officer is the actual officer of the court, who protects the public, who protects the judges, who protects the property, and everything else. And you will see their names, badge. You'll see their shields that say New York State officers. New York State, I'm sorry, court. And they are court officers, all right? That will give you an indication of which arena you're in. And as I stated, you can actually ask the question. It's very important that you're knowledgeable by asking questions. It doesn't mean you have to know a law book or go to law school. A question is a question. That's how you get knowledge, right? Hence, judge desire for knowledge, right? But either way, that's how you can know that the difference between security guards and a court officer. So the jurisdiction as well is very important. These adjudications officers, they don't seek justice, like I said. So you have to actually try to do your best to ask the questions needed. Don't come out of your face, because you want to be respectable, because the more that they see sometimes you get respect for it. You should, as long as you're not rude. So I always, they are not the court of law. So I'm always respectable to everybody, because I know it's important, but I'm going to ask questions. Two, they skip the rules, like we just said, and do not offer or negotiate to reduce whatever ticket charges you have, as far as, if you did a red light or whatever, they're giving you the points. All right, you're supposed to be able to reduce that to a non-traffic violation that doesn't affect, as I stated, anywhere you go, you should be able to, a judge should be able to say, okay, even if it's 3 points, I give you 1. At least you're negotiating, because 3 is a lot, because the next time you get a ticket, now you have 6. And if you look in my other videos, I explained each points and how many you need before they take your give you an assessment fee or take your license. All right, so that's really important. It's not just easy. You're not just driving because you want to drive. Now you got to watch all the tickets and stuff that you're getting, because it accumulates. You'll be suspended. You're on the street not knowing you're suspended. You get arrested for that, for registration and for licenses. If you don't keep up with how many points and what you're paying and the assessment fee or child support issues, they will do it. Just watch my past videos on legal matters, where it states in my traffic videos all the information you may need briefly. That's really important. I didn't go way long with it. I just need to give out exactly what you need to know in the future, because I'm sure most people, viewers here, are drivers, and if not, good for you. All right. And as I stated, they always find you guilty even when you have proof, which is not a good thing, that's not justice. But they do, if you have a lawyer and you can afford one, I would bring one to these places because they get the respect because they know that these are not judges. Okay, they're lawyers just like them, and that lawyer knows that. So, or any lawyer would know it. Okay, so they're not going to trick a lawyer. They'll probably reduce it or dismiss it, but not everyone has the money. So if we don't have the money, because lawyers are expensive and most of them don't do their job, but the ones that do, wow, they're best. So, but they're going to cost you. Um, Getting the lawyer is a good thing, but like I said, if you don't, you ask these questions, you get them on tape. Ask their, you don't have to ask their title unless they don't say, unless you feel like asking them. Then once they say judge, that's all you need with their last name. You don't need to ask what their title is. They just gave it to you on the record. And therefore we all as one can come forward and start bringing these hearing officers to their titles, original titles, the only titles they have as being hearing officers, and then conclude that we can also get them to bring down these tickets of points violations to a parking ticket if needed, or dismissed because they failed to address the issue that they're not a courthouse and they're not actual judges. So I'm going to let you know if and when the appeal goes through, when we get the decision for the people I'm helping out. And once that comes through, it takes a process. We'll see what happens if it gets dismissed or there's further to go through. Because like I said, they are a financial industry. These are financial industries, parking in New York, traffic in New York, all of them, and Social Security too. They're siphoning our money, especially the ones that give you the tickets. Social Security doesn't give you tickets, but they're siphoning our money and uses the money for the city and administrative costs. That's what the adjudication offices do. The courts uses the money for, and the taxpayers are paying for that as well, for their adjudication officers. That means we're paying the salary of those hearing officers through those tickets to continue to violate us and have us paying those tickets. That's administrative costs. The county always gets the money in every jurisdiction when it comes to tickets. The difference between that and the court is the court pays the county, whatever county that is upstate, that gets the money. But they also have victims. I don't remember what it's called. Yeah, the money, the surcharges goes to victims of crimes. So there's the difference between a courthouse and a financial industry that states their adjudication offices, what they are. So you can't call yourself a judge. You can't call yourself a courthouse, and therefore we're not financed, the courts, by taxpayers in any form that I know of, because we're state. So differences with the city, the taxpayers are paying these people, your tickets are paying for this administration costs, and the county gets the money. And as I said, for the courts, surcharges go to the victims of crimes. So those that are in a traffic crime, anything that had happened or killed in traffic, whatever, that's where the money goes. There's none of that happens in adjudication offices. Like I said, they adjudicate the tickets to get the money. That's it. And I don't give them any credit. I will never respect them as judges because they're not doing a justice for anyone. So they'll never get my respect. And I hope someone from there sees this tape. Because they're going to have to counteract. And please leave comments or email me if you do and you do work in that system. You could do your own research on everything you need to. When it comes to paying the adjudication offices, you will know the difference. And when a court summons you, you'll know the difference. And therefore, when you have a case against you, you look at that summons or the ticket to see where it's coming from, what division or court or adjudication office it is, and therefore do your research before you go in or you pay that ticket. Always plead not guilty so that you can actually get it reduced or get them on the record to say they're judges, because you're going to be found guilty in the city no matter what. But the point is to now to say not guilty and stop paying it, because it's directly affecting your license. You're getting points. All right. If we do this, if we take the time to do so, we will know. When you do the research and you ask the questions, you will know that it's beneficial for all. All right. So I'm so glad to have given these instructions and to benefit you, of course. And so my next Legal Matters show will be, this one's late. It was supposed to be December, the ending. So the ending of January, every fourth week of the month is Legal Matters. And then I have Know Your Truth, Real Talk, every Saturday at 3 o'clock. I will see you tomorrow. If you want to see the talk live on Know Your Truth, Real Talk, that will be tomorrow. I'm not going to tell you the theme or topic yet, so I'll surprise you. So that's it. Subscribe, like, and share, and I'll see you on the next time. And real soon, I'm going to the beach to enjoy my Puerto Rico weather, because I heard it's not doing so well this weekend up to the points where we live in the United States. It's supposed to have a snowstorm, so we ditched that. Thank God. Well, the first one anyway, who knows? But I'm glad to be here. I have a lot of gratitude for that, and being away from the snow right now. I'm going to enjoy. I'm going to get back to you guys live tomorrow at 3. I'm just trying to find a nice setting so you can see the beauty. I did put on TV here. It's similar, but you can see it on social media. I'm posting a lot of the trips and places we're going. And so I hope to see you on the next show, right? With me, Judge Desire for Knowledge. See you soon. Ciao.